this is a perfect opportunity to bring Jeff on. Jeff Burningham is the author, maybe you've heard of it, The Last Book Written by a Human.
Wow.
Becoming Wise in the Age of AI. Jeff, why did you decide to write this book?
Yeah, it felt like it encapsulates the message for our moment, which is that as our machines become more and more intelligent, we as humans must become more wise.
Okay. So was there a light bulb moment for you where you said, you know, there's a whole book here. I've got some perspective. First of all, why do you think you have some good perspective to share, with book buyers across the country? And was there that moment where you're like, in fact, I'm going to write this book because there is a message people need to know?
Yeah, absolutely. My background is in entrepreneurship. I live in Utah and have started many billion-dollar companies along the Wasatch Front and have invested as a venture capitalist in many of the tech startups along the fast-growing tech corridor in Utah, which is called the Silicon Slopes. So my background is in entrepreneurship. It is in technology. I had a little detour, ran for governor here in the state of Utah in 2020, lost during the pandemic, but it was really run in the summer of 2020 after losing into the governor's race. It was the first time in my adult life, I was 43 years old, where I had space and time. And a lot of us probably can relate with that summer of COVID. And with space and time, anything can be created. And these thoughts about AI and the existential questions that it would cause us to ask just started coming through me. So you asked, why did I write the book? I kind of didn't have a choice. It just felt like it needed to be written and that mine was a voice that could potentially be interested because of my background in technology.
You know, I think it's important you mentioned, and Ron, you know, you're familiar with Salt Lake City, but the Silicon Slopes, that's a real thing. I mean, a lot of those tech companies have now moved to Utah because it's very business-friendly environment. Jeff, what can you give us in terms of tips, living in a life of AI and dealing with some of the changes that we're dealing with, looking ahead maybe to 2026?
Yeah, I'm glad that you've heard of the Silicon Slopes, Celeste. It is a great and part of Utah.
Well, she's a skier. She goes up to the other slopes, the real slopes. But anyway, yeah.
Hey, that's another good reason to come to Utah. The snow, the best snow on earth. Yeah, let me give you just 3 ideas. I talk about these in the last book written by a human. 3 simple ideas, Celeste, for 2026. Number 1, lean into real human relationship. It's easy to spend time with ChatGPT or your favorite AI chatbot, or even with the almighty algorithm of social media, but those aren't real relationships. The beauty is in the mess. So our human relationships aren't in the way, they are the way. So number 1. Number 2, spend time in nature. The more we become disembodied and not connected to the earth, we can lose ourselves. And that is when AI could take over potentially in a nefarious way, when we're not connected with what is real and what is grounding us. So in nature. And the third thing that I would say is a really important idea to remember that this is a crucible that AI presents a crucible, I think, for humanity. It's a way for us to go through together. We transform together. We evolve together. AI is a machine and it's not human. So again, lean into relationships in nature and remember that AI is not embodied. We are embodied. So return to the body, flow activities, breath, meditation, etc. There's some ideas for 2026.
Let's talk specifics for people. Celeste just gave us this long list of people who've lost their jobs in what you might consider old tech, traditional tech. The new jobs are going to be in AI. Well, I've heard a lot of people say, look, don't fear it. embrace it and figure out how your career can move into that sphere. I was just talking to a family member who had recently been laid off, and that's the big question mark that's out there. If you've been in old tech, how do you position yourself to get a new job in, I guess you could call it new tech or the AI world?
Yeah, it's a great question. Fortunately or not, I think humans often learn through pain. And I think there is a lot of pain coming, and part of that is in disinformation. You guys deal with that on a daily basis. And I think another one is job loss. I've been since losing the governor's race here in Utah, I've been an adjunct professor at BYU in entrepreneurship for thousands of students. And so AI has been a big topic of conversation. Do we keep it out of the classroom? And let me just say, Ron, we can't pretend like this isn't happening. We can't bury our heads in the sand. And I also don't think that fear hardly ever plays a productive role as we go forward. So we do need to embrace AI. A lot of the jobs that will be coming will be humans working with machines to become potentially more efficient, more effective, whatever the case may be. What we can't lose in all of this, though, Ron, is the human touch and creativity. You know, like,
yes,
we all have art within us. We all have wisdom that we can bring to the work that we're doing, to our families, whatever the case may be. And so this will be a combination in wisdom and working with machines. So it is something to embrace, and it's something we'll be figuring out here for the next decade or two. This isn't going to be decided next year or tomorrow.
I think you're onto something, Jeff. Where can we find your book, by the way?
Yeah, the book is sold everywhere books are sold: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart. And you can follow me. I wrote the last book written by a human to be a conversation starter, and I'm on social media at Jeff Burningham, kind of wherever you can find us. So I'd love to continue the conversation. And it's good to talk to you guys.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, we'll look for it for sure.
Yeah, Jeff, thank you. We appreciate your time this morning. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
I like that
have
fire.
A great Thanksgiving, guys.
I like that fire in the fireplace right behind. Is that
it's
real?
Cold here in Utah.
That's not like a TV, is it? That's actual flames going on there?
That's an actual flame.
Not an AI created flame.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
I think he's on to something here. On my podcast, The Balancing Act, Ron, I interviewed someone who she's a mom and she's a business coach, and that is exactly what she's doing. She's teaching these CEOs to lean into being human and to connect with other people, because we're so consumed with technology that sometimes we forget to interact this way instead of connecting this way.